wait for about 10 minutes because we have to change our classroom from south 112 to the south 210, just because the class is used by another sports teacher. So we have to change our classroom. And now let's get started our today's class here. Yeah. Mm. 能看得见吧？ Can you get my slide? And can you get my voice? Sure? Yes. Okay, yes. Let's get started. And last lesson, we talked about the CPC's leading, right? And the CPC's achievement in this nearly 70 years, right? And we talked about the CPC's organization construction. And now I want to share some information about the anti-corruption. Maybe you know, CPC, in order to strengthen is parties organizations construction, and CPC shows the strong determination against corruption. And here's a very famous saying here: cracking down on both tigers and flies. Can you get it? Whatever you are a top leader, such as the top leader Zhou Yongkang, or you are a leader just from the how to say it, from the local governments or the grassroots governments, and just because you are a member of CPC, you will be supervised by and you have to obey. Any member of the CPC has to obey the rules, the disciplines of CPC. And even though, just like the Zhou Yongkang became, like on the PPT shows, became the first official, and we know he is a member of our standing committee of political bureau of the CPC Central Committee. And we know the standing committee of the political bureau of CPC Central Committee, just the core of the whole China politics, right? Even though Zhou Yongkang is a member of the standing committee, and he was deprived from the CPC group just because he disobeyed the rules and disciplines of the CPC. So whatever flies or tiger, and any member will be deprived, be punished by the CPC's discipline, right? And these years, and CPC shows an attitude. We call it as a zero tolerance attitude about the anti-corruption. And these years here, these figures just show some issues in 2021. That means, for example, here, just in 2021, in this year, in the whole China, CPC supervise the CPC's party branches about 4,474 on the top one. Get it? And to talk about to talk about with the leaders of the all levels governments, right? And punish some leaders of the CPC, punish some leaders and members of the CPC. Okay, so in these years, we can say CPC not only put more attention to develop the economy, to get more and more achievements in the economic fields, and especially it strengthens to the power, strengthens its power to against the corruption, to managing its group, its team, and to control the limitation, to limit the development of the members group, the members team. Right. This is the one point about the CPC. Another point is about the relationship. We will talk about it in this class, relationship between the ruling party and other 8 parties. I remember several days ago in our classroom, I asked you, do you remember? I asked you one question. Do you know how many parties in our China? Right? You replied that just one, right? But now I think maybe we can understand from this lesson, from this class, in our China, there's not only the ruling party, we call it as CPC just now we mentioned, right? And there are other 8 parties, other 8 parties. So there are totally how many parties in China? One at 8 equals how many parties in China? In nowadays China? Yeah, of course 9. Of course 9. And we have to say the ruling party is just, who is the ruling party? Of course is the CPC, or just the all 9 parties are all the ruling parties? The former or the later? Yeah, just the CPC is our ruling party, right? But other 8 parties here, we will talk about it. What are these functions of other 8 parties? Okay, and how about the relationship between other 8 parties with the ruling party CPC, right? And we have to say the relationship, we will call it as the cooperation relationship between the other 8 parties with the CPC. Multi-party cooperation, multi-party. Here are several parties in the political party system, right? And ruling party is just the CPC, but other 8 parties will cooperate with CPC. We call it as the multi-party cooperation. And multi-party cooperation and political consultation system is led by, of course, the CPC in cooperation and consultation with 8 parties, which make up the united front. And it happened in our history. Just in the you call it as the, I remember you call it as the Civil War, right? This war happened in about 1949 to in 1945 to 1949, right? You call it as the Civil War. We call it as the Liberation War. Do you remember? And at that moment in our history, other parties has cooperated with the CPC to build our new country. So we call the relationship the multi-parties made up a united front. United front is a specific noun in Chinese politics. In Chinese, we call it as 统一战线. Can you get that? Mama and you? Yeah, 统一战线. Just in that moment, we made up such a front. We call it as a united front to against the 国民党, another ruling party. In that moment, right? And the principle, the multi-party cooperation principle is long-term coexistence and mutual supervision, treating each other with full sincerity and sharing will or goal. What's that meaning? What does it mean? And this process is institutionalized in the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. We call it as CPPCC, is the abbreviation of such a conference. And we know here are two sessions in Northeast China. Every year, we will hold two important conferences in every month. Just in last month, here are two sessions or two conferences. One is the CPPCC. Another is what? Do you remember? NPC, National People's Congress. National People's Congress Conference. Do you remember? And every year in March, it will be held. Such two sessions will be held in Beijing. And most of the important issues, political issues, will be talked about in such two sessions. So these two sessions or these two conferences are very, very important to the Northeast China, CPPCC and NPC's conference, right? And the principle long-term shows the long-term coexistence. That means coexistence of the 9 parties was the basis. Firstly, not only the ruling party, CPC, exists, right, in the Chinese political system, especially other 8 parties are all exist, right? So existence is the basis of the political system. Can you get it? And another important key point is mutual supervision. What does it mean? Is the key point. Mutual supervision. What does it mean? Supervise each other, right? Not only CPC can supervise the other parties, right? Also, 8 other parties also have the right to supervise the ruling party CPC. Not just give advice to the ruling party. Hey, guys, I will tell you how about you will do blah blah, right? And if the CPC do something wrong, for example, right, and the other 8 parties also have the right to supervise CPC, to tell CPC, not only show the advice, to tell CPC you have to correct it. And it also happened in our history and in Northeast China. Supervision, mutual supervision, right? And treating each other like the brothers, right? Like the families, right? And the principle and the cooperation relationship will be implemented by the CPPCC. Just like the National People's Congress, we know National People's Congress from the central to the local, right? And CPPCC also has all levels from the central to the local organizations. Can you get it? Okay. Functions. These functions we refer to the CPPCC's functions. The first is participating in politics. Firstly, participating means participating in the deliberation and administration state affairs. Second, participating in the consultation of major state policies and candidates for state leaders. And the last one, participating in the enactment and the implementation of stated principles, policies, laws, and regulations. First line, participating in the deliberation and administration of state affairs. That means the ruling party CPC will invite all the parties to deliberate or to consult the state affairs. For example, once CPC wants to push a new policy in the whole China to make a decision, right? Then the CPC will invite the CPPCC. Not CPCCC. Will invite the eight parties to talk about the major issue, right? Before the decision. And participating in the consultation of major state policies and candidates for state leaders is, for example, in this NPC, in this National People's Congress, we know we elected our new president of China, right? Then before this step, CPPCC and NPC will talk about the major state leaders, and 8 other parties will show their advice about the president of the China. Hi. And question.
So that's
Many NPC and CPPCC.
NPC, SPC, and parties, state parties.
No, I didn't graduate to you. Huh? What's the difference between which two? Ruling party and state parties.
Ruling party issue.
Yeah, but I have to say, CPC and the ruling party, it has a decision. It has a decision, the major decision.
Of course, the ruling party is the decision maker.
CPC will invite 8 other parties to consult on deliberate major issues, and including the candidate of the state leader. And then they will talk more and more for a long time. And
so it's
this
mainly
is
like members of CPC.
member of CPC and
Even CPC, the ruling party,
yeah.
to include one group has to consult its members. So those of the party are also something together. It's a good. It's good. We are working together for one country. That's what CPC and also.
Oh, they develop their members. CPC member just a group. Yeah, there are other groups. There are other groups. It really we talk about it after class. Okay. I'm not very sure if this your if this your question. I think maybe you I don't know. But I get the point about your question. Just the members from the CPC or from other parties.
In China,
I think about a question in relation to I have something in mind, like a question. That's when you look at the other 8 parties and then the CPC. What is the difference between the 8 parties and
What is the difference between
the other 8 parties and the CPC? I think that they have a particular role or function that is different from what the CPC is. Are they like the other 8 parties that we have? You did say like a position to the CPC.
You mean if the 8 other parties give another devices or information
So
different with the CPC,
yeah, I think
how will it be dealt with? Right?
those are the 8 parties.
So
They say like position
something
CPC.
and read
two months.
They want a position.
What's the question? I don't know who are is that all your questions? Really? But not just the members, not just the different. I can say there are CPC's member. Firstly, CPC's member cannot be on any parties. This is the first rule. Okay. And another question is the difference between the for example, you mean if I maybe I'm another right I'm on the organization status with you CPC, what will be happen?
So
Is that your question?
am I? So you are the CPC and I am the part of the other 8 parties. Am I position to?
It happened. It happened in knowledge. It happened not only once, twice. And it happened not. I did not say it will be. It will be happened very. It's not a normal. It's not a normal situation, but it's actually and not it happened. Then I got 2 methods to solve it. One, to consult it again. To consult it, to delegate it, to hold, lots of conferences. Not show the advice, just to talk about it through lots of conferences.
So how's
This is the first method.
So how's it compete to lose it?
Compete. I have to say, there's no competition. If you use the word compete, I will not compete. There's no competition in between.
The ruling party don't.
Ruling party just the ruling party is there. Only so one. It's the only one. But as 8 other parties, it has the right to not only to give their advice just now I mentioned, and they can show their. For example, I'm not very satisfied with such major issues. I can say no. I disagree with it. Right? I can show my opinion. But at the CPC, hey, ruling party, you will give more information to talk about, to consult. Well, lots of conferences. This is the first method. But I have to say, 8 other parties in China cannot compete with cannot compete with the ruling party to fight against the CPC. It depends, of course, each other parties have the right to show their opinions, But the ruling party CPC will not only give the space to talk about it, and CPC will give more information, including the the publishing text policies to the 8 other parties. This is the one message, just one message to talk more and more until the 8 other parties and the ruling party get a balance. In China, I'm not very sure. Can you get the word balance? Yeah, to get the peace. Well, more annotation. This is just the first method. Next, wait a moment, okay? And now here are 2 methods. And this just now I just showed this method, right? And another method is to vote. To vote. Vote. V-O-T-E.
Yeah.
Vote. In other parties, they have also many members, right? And they can not only show their opinion, and they can vote to show it is another method to show their opinion.
So
through the balance.
So we might get citizens.
Huh?
Every 5 years.
You mean election about what?
5 years.
Years
Recent
to elect
election.
what?
People vote their leaders in the party every 5 years, 4 years, 6 years.
20 years.
5 years in China.
I mean,
Every 5 years.
just 5 years we will change the representatives.
So you.
I'm not very sure how about the rules about 8 other parties. I'm sure at the People's Congresses, not only the National People's Congress, also other levels, all levels of our National People's People's Congress. We will change our elect our representatives again every 5 years. Yeah, but I'm not very sure how about the is a good question. I have to check it like last time to how about 8 other parties. I think maybe they will elect again, change it again about their members of it. Okay.
So there's no election. Example, when you come to
Election.
many countries, there are
They should-
parties.
They should be their own rules about the election.
Of course.
But how many years will they change or elect it again? I'm not very sure. This is an interesting question, and maybe we can talk more about the relationship just because.
So there are many countries.
What's that? Oh,
So when you come to city, party, voting. So every 5 years, people will
You mean in your own country, lots of several parties will be formed to I know party parties to be the ruling parties.
The ruling party is one.
But several parties have the right to compete to be the ruling party, right? In China, it's different.
Yes, choose party. So the ruling party.
Who will be the, I don't know, you mean, who will be the ruling party? Then the ruling party's leader will be the president of the country, right? Yeah, I know.
So that's what they ask them. Is it the same procedure in China? Out of the 8 other parties, can one of them become
Oh, I didn't get
the 8 other parties? Which add to the ruling party to become that CPC become say. That's what we say, isn't it?
because
You said there are 8 other parties.
no, there's no any competition in the parties. Just now I mentioned there are no any competition between the ruling party and the these are so you can get the competition in nowadays political system between the parties relationship. I have to say there's no any competition. Just it's very different with your
For me, I have this.
but I didn't get the first
Ruling, can one of them become ruling?
The ruling. Oh. Yeah, I guess that applies.
So, like,
any
can we give an example?
Huh?
Like an example. Explain an
uh,
example.
in your own country.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the one in China is
I know some. I know some other countries, political, especially the party system. Say, in nowadays, it's very unique. It's very unique and is a creation. Is a creation created. It's not like any country's model. We just use our own model. Maybe you have to. If you are interested, we can talk more about on the issues. Okay, but not now. I have to say the attendance.
ah.
Okay, guys online. Just now we in the classroom we talked about the relationship between and the difference between the CPC and the other 8 parties. Now let's have a break, just 5 minutes, and I will check our attendance. Okay. Whatever. How about the system, political system or policies? Was implemented, but the most key point is to strengthen the power of CPC to lead the whole Chinese people to get more good situation to live, to work. This is the key key point. So I have to say, not only just because I'm also the member of CPC, and I also get the benefit from the CPC. In fact, when I was a little girl and now I'm adult, right? And I get more and more benefits. I know in recent 40 years. Our living standard just like last lesson I mentioned, the whole living standard of China was improved rapidly. So the key point to the CPC to control the team, to limit the members of the CPC party. Huge member is not does not mean doesn't mean great, right? But to limit the members to control the organizations, all level organizations, and to keep against corruption, right? It's very important to nowadays CPC. And in recent years, CPC did it well, and maybe it will last for several or more than 10 or 20 years.
So does it mean that those CPC members?
Officials? No. You mean members of CPC are no, sorry, I'm not official. I'm just a normal teacher. Right? And I'm also a member.
Yeah, of course.
What do you understand?
So why they limit?
Okay, you need the number of members.
Yeah. They are not officials. One civilian, if he is CPC, he is not official.
You mean he cannot conduct?
Yeah. Civil, maybe it's better. So that's wrong.
No, not just only the officials in the aim, in the target of the CPC, right? CPC has its own distinct organization to supervise all the members. Whatever you are normal member or you are official member, whatever you are, what's your job, your career, to be supervised by CPC. Even I am, for example, I am the member of CPC, right? And of course, CPC can supervise me. For example, if I disobey the rules of the CPC, for example, I'm not very sure is that correct, this example. For example, here's a very specific rule in the CPC. It orders the members, the whole members, to be strict with ourselves. Can you understand that? For example, to obey, I'm a normal member, right? And I have to obey the schools, the university schools, right? If I disobey such rules, of course, CPC can punish me as a party organization, even though I do not get some illegal benefit. For example, from you, some of my students, right? It's illegal. I will be not only be punished by the law, and firstly, I will be punished by the party, by the CPC. I don't know whether such an example that. Understand?
I mean,
Even though I'm not an official, of course, just now I said here saying whatever your parents or titles, you'll be deprived. You'll be deprived or deprived from the CPC. I'm not very sure, but if you are interested in that, maybe we can talk about it, even though it's not the class time. Okay. I want to explain more, just because here some text on the slides. Maybe they just show the key point. But I'm here to explain more for you if you are interested. Okay, I'll try my best. Just. Okay, guys, online we will talk about our students show their own opinions and ask some very, very good questions. So I have to say I like you are all come here. If you can overcome some difficulties, if you come here, maybe we can communicate and talk more about with your interesting questions. Okay. So thanks for your coming again, and I can get more information about your opinion and your perspective about the Chinese politics. Right. Then the second function. 哦，我开了没有啊？我开，哦，开了。
我们进去
没有开了。Okay, guys, let's talk about the democratic supervision. It's also the function of the 8 other parties. Okay, and the CPPCC's function. Participating in the democratic symposium held by the government or by the CPC, okay? And they can participate in the investigation organized by the CPPCC or by people's congresses. And members of other 8 parties can be employed as inspectors, procurators, and supervisors to inspect or supervise the major cases, fiscal and tax inspection. That means the key point word is the supervision. Yeah, in our Chinese we call it as 民主监督. Democratic in Chinese 民主党. 民主党 is an adjective word, right? That means CPC or CPPCC and other organizations just like People's Congresses will invite other 8 parties or organize members of 8 other parties to investigate, just like the investigation of Mao Zedong when he was young, right? To find some problems, right? And to find some and to supervise the ruling party, right, as the inspectors or procurators, especially in such fields we mentioned just now, major cases like fiscal and tax inspection. Here, I want to show one issue is that in these 8 other parties, there are lots of experts, in 8 other parties, and so they can solve some actual problems for the CPC or other organizations, just because lots of experts, such as the fiscal experts and tax experts. Right. And the last one, is serving and communicating. 8 other parties can provide consulting services for all social departments and can give full play to the advantages of firm relations with Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, and overseas to help mainland attract funds for society development. In this point, just because not only in history and in nowadays China, 8 other parties, their members has more firm relationship with such areas. For example, they are living in nowadays China. They are living in mainland China. Can you get that? But they have lots of relatives who are living overseas China or living in Macau, Hong Kong, and Taiwan district. Can you get it? They have more relatives. For example, cousins, sisters, brothers, relatives who are living in the overseas or other areas. So they can get more help get more funds for the society development. 你能理解吗？啊，你真的能理解吗？ Can you get it? Can you get this point, this sentence? Okay. And it's not just only happened in Northeast China. In history, they not only get more funds and even in the war periods, they get more weapons. They get more weapons from the overseas countries for China. For example, I am the member of 8 other parties, right? Even though I'm living or studying here, but I have more relatives, lots of relatives who are living and not only living, and they have money to buy the weapons in history, so they can get more resources from the relatives, right? Just because they whatever they are living in any countries, but they also love this country. Just love this country, right? And the last one is represents, serve, and maintain the interests and the requests of the people, just because the 8 other parties also represent some people's interests, right? So they have to represent those people to show their opinions, to talk about some major issues. This is a question. You will not write it down. Just here. Why did the history choose CPC as a ruling party? Okay. Just now we talked some issues about it, right? Okay. Oh, guys, here. Guys online, I want to remind it again. I will finish. We have to finish our class next week. So remember, finish your own assignment, finish your own homework. And if you are in China, please hand it in to me next week, okay? And I have downloaded some assignments from our class, from our students, okay? Remember it. Hey guys, can you get me? Online, do you remember the assignment? If you get my voice, please answer. Okay,
Yes.
okay, thank you, Chen Zilong.
Yes, 老师 yes.
Okay. I'll remind you again via our WeChat. Okay, Union 3, People's Congress. People's Congress system is the Chinese fundamental political system. I often symbolize it as a circle. It's like a circle. The starting point is here. People. We know China is a very, very huge country, right? And the people cannot rule the country by themselves directly, right? Because there are about 1.4 billion, right? 1.4 billion population, right? So people delegate their political power, delegate the power to which country, to which organization? Here, right? People will elect their representatives to organize an organization. We call it as our People's Congress, right? But The People's Congress also had a strong, how to say, had a strong ability to rule the whole country, right? The military issues, the economic issues, and the education issues. The People's Congress cannot rule the society directly, so People's Congress elect other organizations, right? Here, the third step to elect what? Government, court, right? And the procuratorate, and other organizations, not just 3 organizations, and other organizations to rule and implement the policies, right? To serve for the whole people. So we call such a political system, we call it as a dual delegation of power and dual supervision. Dual steps delegation of power. This is the first election, right? The whole people elect representatives to organize the People's Congress. Then People's Congress elect the government and other organizations to rule the society, to serve all the people, right? And from here, back to the first step, government, courts, and other organizations also, they will be supervised by who? Yes. They get the power, and they get the policy power, but the policy power, political power, is not their own right. They have to be supervised also by the People's Congress. So can you understand that why just now I mentioned 2 very important sessions every year in March? The National People's Congress will supervise the government first. So how will the National People's Congress supervise the government, the central government? We call it as our state council. The prime minister of the state council has to make a worker report to the National People's Congress every year in March. In the National People's Congress, you get it? Then the whole representatives of the National People's Congress will read the report and to deliberate and to conduct and to elect parts, not parts. If in our history, as a government report, worker report, in the recent years, it will not be passed, right? But this is a very important supervision of the National People's Congress to supervise the government and other organizations, just like National People's Congress. Even though in our Chinese students, some of our Chinese students, maybe they will think they have such opinions about the National People's Congress. They look at our National People's Congress just as a laws-making organization. Is that correct? Do you think is that correct? Even though in our Chinese students' opinion, they think National People's Congress just make our laws, including the Constitution and other laws. It's just a making laws organization. True or false? No, it's not just an administration organization. The function of National People's Congress is not only to make laws, including the Constitution, And it gets all the political power from the people. Can you understand that? And just now, Muamong asked a very good question. Also, not only the members and the leaders of the Green Party and 8 other parties will be changed, will be elected again. We know in our China, even though we have such an organization, National People's Congress, and it also is a normal principle. It also be changed, not be changed, it's also be elected in 5 years, in every 5 years. And this year is unchangeable, is an election year again. This year. And that means not only the leader of National People's Congress and all levels of People's Congress, including the leaders and especially the members. Members that means the representatives of all levels of People's Congress will be elected again. Because all the grassroots People's Congress will be elected firstly, then step by step to the top level, to the National People's Congress will be elected again. You get it? Okay. So the first step, government should be supervised by the People's Congress just in every March, National People's Congress. And can you understand that? For example, our own Jiangsu province also has its own level, People's Congress, right? And as a director of our Jiangsu province, the director of Jiangsu province, the leader of Jiangsu province, is of the government, right? The government, he or she also has to show the work report every year to the same level of People's Congress. It is a political system. And the People's Congress will be supervised by people. Just now we mentioned it. People will change or elect the representatives in every 5 years in the supervision method, right? This is another supervision. Okay.下课了吗？几点下课
5:10开始的。
？5:10对面组就下课。看一下这边we talked it all about, then we finish our class. Okay, duties of the National People's Congress. First one, just now I said even though some Chinese students they make some confusion about here. Not only the supreme legislative power, not only legislative power, right? And the supreme power, because it has, as the National People's Congress, it has legislative power just because if we want to publish a new constitution, just the national peoples have the right, have the power, right? And the next one is supreme power of appointment and removal. And removal just means if the national people is not satisfied with such leaders of our country, they can elect, including the elect president, military, and so on. You get it? Just because here, our military is not only belongs to belongs to our country. It also belongs. It also military. Military is not only belong to the state, to the country. It also, can you understand that? It also belongs to the CPC. Can you get it? Really? Okay. So just 2 brands, but 1 organization. To our military, British Army. Just 2 brands. 2 brands. One is CPC brand, one is state brand, but they are just 1 organization, military organization. You get it? Okay. Okay. We have to finish our today's class, and I have to say, next class is our last one. It's our last one. Welcome our more students come here in the last one, in the last class. And guys, I have to remind it again. Do not forget the assignment because it was firmly related with our, score. Okay, thanks. Huh? No. We are not. This is just normal. It's just in your own time. And here's a finding then just we will not be provided by myself. So we have to also then now just to invite you all into the platform. I am not very sure on
And me for now, it's here.
又是你给我提供的那个叫什么热点？